Hello and welcome back to round 7 of the Cologne Regional Championships. Before we start with this round, just to inform each and every one of you, there was an issue during the last round. Unfortunately, a player drew 2 more cards than he was supposed to draw. The situation was under investigation by the head judge, and there will be a penalty issued to that player at the beginning of this round. So the player will receive a double price loss penalty. So yeah, everything's solved here, and I would say we can focus on this round now,
Yeah,
Martin.
let's go into the next round. We have Martin Guilbert playing against Stefan
Stefan Weber.
Weber. He really interesting matchup.
He's not a family member of you, just to clarify.
No, we actually need to change my last name. Yeah, the two decks are really interesting, matching up against each other. Mewtwo against Blacephalon. I have actually played this matchup quite a lot of times, and it's super interesting and has a lot of interesting dynamics that both players can use. Obviously, you want to get those big B-string turns to KO the tag teams that Mewtwo will have to put into play. But there's a lot of stuff that Mewtwo can do to prevent this. So.
Yeah, and I would say we have a look at Martin's achievements. Martin is currently rank 1 CP-wise in Europe. And looking at his achievements, we can see a recent top 4 at the regional championships in Sheffield just 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
We see a top 64 at the international in London. That's already a
yeah.
bit
Also
in the past, but yeah, we can see some accomplishments here. And on Stefan's side,
yeah, we see he got second at the special event in Prague, which was some time ago as well. But maybe he's finally able to pull through again in this tournament and add another finish to his list of achievements. It's always fun to feature players that are not as well known and give them some time in the spotlight, as the players have already set up, and we see the handshake and the flip of the Dene and Blacephalon GX.
yeah, and we can see Martin, he has 3 fire energy price. Actually, that's a bit unfortunate. And on Stefan's side, we can see 2 Mew tag team GX enterprises and a welder. That's not too good, but it could be worse.
Yeah, you should be able to find your Mewtwo's anyway. Usually you want to be able to start with one. That's like the ideal starter, and you can never go wrong with putting down 2 Mewtwo's in this deck. Yeah, so he will need to find his other 2 Mewtwo's that are not priced really soon. And so he can start setting up, flooding his board with energies, as all these welder decks do currently. And yeah, drawing some cards and trying to attack from turn 2 into this Blacephalon, which will be really important.
Yeah, and we see Stefan starting with a Mysterious Treasure and a Cherish. Ha! Jeez. A Cherish ball. Getting some Pokemon on the field. Of course, something you want to do.
Yeah, you want to also be able to get your Pokemon into the discard pile. Probably second Dedenne will come down soon. Yes, to just refresh his hand, draw into ideally a combination of either Hearth or Fire Energy plus Welder to fuel these attacks that Mewtwo can copy from anywhere off the board. Ideally, you don't want to give Blacephalon those dreaded B-strings as like a general idea of the game plan that the Mewtwo player might go for. You have some options to skip it. One very interesting inclusion in Stefan's deck list is actually the Giratina Lost Thunder, which is able to put like 2 damage counters on 2 of Martin's bench Pokemon. So if he puts damage onto one of his Blacephalon, he can try to take a knockout in the middle of his turn with the shadow, with the ping of the Giratina, which could be really useful to skip those B-string turns. But we see Martin going for a setup as you want to. Is Blacephalon setting up this Neganadals and Blacephalons and try to apply some pressure back. Maybe use an early GX attack, maybe save it for later actually. It could be very important. I've seen some Blacephalon players taking a more conservative approach and saving the GX attack for later because you have the option of Heatran, which can be really useful in the late game when you have all your energy spread on your board because of Beast Ring and you can't charge up Blacephalon. You just go with Naganadel in the active and maybe retreat into Heatran and move all the energy on it and go for big GX attack knockout. So there's actually some merit now to just saving the GX attack and not just going for it on turn 2 only because you can. Also 20 damage and confusion. Like the burn and confusion is really good.
True. And we've just seen a welder for 1 energy to the Blacephalon.
That's at least something.
It is. And I think more importantly, Martin was able to draw 3 more cards.
Yes, that's actually... He drew some pretty good ones, I guess, with the Cherish Ball and the Ultra Space. So, yeah. Going for the Dene, actually, he will probably continue to dig through his deck and get some more Poipoles on the board to be able to fuel those big energy attack costs.
And here we see it. Discarding 1 custom catcher, a bit unfortunate always, but...
You shouldn't need more than 1 gust effect versus tag teams. I think you take
true.
1 3-price knockout on the active, ideally, and then eventually you catch up the other one, and then it's fine. Yeah, the pressure is definitely on the Mewtwo player on Stefan to swing this matchup and skip Beast Ring, because if you hit into Beast Ring, the only thing you can do versus Blacephalon is just pray that they don't draw into it, which is not like a reliable strategy. So as we see, burn and confusion, really important. Also putting 20 damage on the Mewtwo, because now he only needs to get rid of 5 fire energy from his Pokemon.
The math adds up really good here.
Yeah.
Those 20 damage, they help a lot, even if it might not seem like that.
Yeah, also confusion is rather annoying, because now Stefan needs to either risk the flip or get a switch card, or retreat. And
for having a switch card, he needs something to switch into at first.
Yeah, also he played 1 switch on his first turn, so he might not have that. But we'll see. Going forward, going for the Giant Earth, getting these fire energy out of the deck. Maybe he has a welder in hand already, or he's just gonna get rid of as many Pokemon as possible in these early turns, so he thins out his deck and has a lot of options in the late game. As we see, the Giratina, that's what you want to do. You snipe 170 to 1 Blacephalon, and then you bring back the Giratina, knocking out the Blacephalon and KOing the active one, going from 6 to 2 prizes. That's the ideal game plan. But obviously, Blacephalon wants to prevent
paper,
it.
this sounds really good. But in game, this might be quite hard.
Yeah, it's actually quite hard, because Venom Shot costs 4 energy, and also if Blacephalon puts down a Mew, then you need to play around it as well. So it becomes really tough really quick. And if you don't get a good start with Mew, Blacephalon will just take the first KO. They don't mind. They put pressure on you. So, and he copies Turbo Strike, risking the confusion flip, and he gets heads. So
lucky.
Really nice. Getting this energy on board.
Yeah, we see him powering up another Mewtwo Mew on the bench.
This is never a bad thing, right?
Of course,
having your other attacker already set up. As you see, the Naganadel GX come down, which is like a really good inclusion, because it allows you to draw cards and just see more cards on the V-string turns when you actually need it.
Yeah, it's a very good trade, and the synergy with the Ultra Space is just really nice.
Yeah, you basically get to draw 3 cards every turn, because your deck almost it plays no other Pokemon than Ultra Beast except Heatran and Dedenne and Mew. So you have a lot of cards to throw away once you have established the Naganadels you need for the game. Because you play like 3 Naganadel from Lost Thunder and 2 GX ones. Yep. So but you only need 3 on the board, so you can always throw those pieces away.
Yeah, you play a 4/5 line, which is very thick. So
as we see Welder on the Blacephalon, drawing even more cards. Oh, and I see reset. Martin is playing reset stamp, which could be huge in this matchup, because if you are able to reset stamp your opponent like down to even like Welder decks tend to accumulate really large hands because they just draw every single turn and thin out their deck, and yeah, reset stamp is gonna be a key card, probably.
Yeah, and we see that Blacephalon already powered up. Those are 4 energies, so
And one on the Naganada.
Oh yeah, true. So that's enough for the knockout.
Yeah, he could take a knockout, but then he would leave himself like at a board without energy. But I guess that's fine since he will pull so far ahead in the price trade. So I think Martin is definitely fine going for the KO here.
Yeah, I mean, if he wouldn't go for the KO, he would get KO'd instead and lose all his energies as well.
Yes,
so
of course.
There's no real option, I would say.
Yes. Yeah, going for the 5 energy KO. This is crazy, right? It's his second turn, so just off the pure power of Welder and Naganadel, there are no Beast Rings needed to KO this 3 prize Pokemon, and that's why it's super hard to execute the gameplay with Mewtwo. If Blacephalon just gets rolling, even though if you can manage to set up the Beast Ring turn skip, it becomes really, really difficult to win, because if they draw well enough, they can win anything.
Yeah, playing Blacephalon really feels like boom, boom, pow. I think that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, for sure. So see Makago hit the discard pile. Yeah, Jirachi GX. It feels really risky not to bench it, because the Naganadal's Turning Point can one-shot a Mewtwo as well, because it hits for weakness, especially right now because he's in the Turning Point turn. Like going into Martin's turn, he will activate, Turning Point will be activated, so he will deal 160, and if he hits for weakness on the Mewtwo, then it will be a KO. So it's really important to prevent that. CC resetting hole, getting rid of the stadium.
We see Jirachi.
Yes, Jirachi making its way down to the bench. And Mewtwo, the regular Mewtwo from Unbroken Bonds coming down, putting a Welder on top. And, oh, that's a really, really nice interaction. He actually put the Welder on top and drew into it with a custom catcher for 3, so he can use it this turn.
But first we see a Pokegear.
Getting another Welder.
Yeah.
Really nice.
That makes lots of sense. It also makes sense to play the Pokegear before the Welder, because that way you can ensure not to draw into more useful cards. Just have more cards in general. It's always nice.
Yes, we see Welder for 1, drawing 3 cards. Yeah, so now he can go for the Venom Shot, and since Martin got rid of all of his energy on board, there's I don't think there's a way that that Stefan's Mewtwo can get KO'd on this turn, and then you set up the Beast Ring turn skip with. Oh, actually, he can't bring back Giratina from the bench before Martin takes a KO because his bench is full. So that got a lot more difficult, just right there. Yeah, putting 170 on the Blacephalon. I think Martin expects this, right? You, as a good player, you probably think about, okay, what options does my opponent's deck have, and how do I play around it?
Yeah,
so I would expect him to be ready for it.
We need to keep in mind, Martin Guilbert is the player with the most championship points in Europe at the moment. That means he has played lots of local tournaments, lots of League Cups, lots of challenges, and as far as I know, he almost always stick to the same deck.
Yeah.
So he has tested a lot. He has played a lot of tournaments. He has a lot of experience with Blacephalon.
Yeah, actually, he's from France, but he drove all the way to Düsseldorf League Cup like 4 weeks ago just to play in it, and it was like a 50 event with 50 masters, and he got top 8, so really nice. Yeah, he's really dedicated to the Pokemon lifestyle, playing tournaments every
Do you have
weekend.
any idea how long the drive took for him?
I don't know, probably, I think it was only 2.5 to 3 hours.
But that's actually fine.
Yeah.
Like I live pretty close to Düsseldorf as well, and because there's a Paris special event, special championship taking place soon, I also only need like 4 hours by train to Paris, which is super good.
Yeah, that's nice.
No need to fly, ladies and gentlemen. You can take a train.
We'll probably go by car, share a car with 5 and then go to Paris, which would be nice. Okay, we see Beast Energy come down to the Naganadel GX, which allows it to snipe the bench. And like the Beast Energy provides the psychic energy cost, so he only needs 3 more fire energy to snipe the bench. Martin has double custom catcher in hand, but there's really not a lot that he would actually want to catcher up right now. He wants to hit into this Mewtwo, right? And he does not want to take any other KOs since Stefan has kind of board locked himself and he has no access to the Giratina. As we see, yeah, now is a good time for a GX attack.
Yeah.
Martin actually flipping the energy, which is really nice, getting it from the prizes, and yeah, he's really set up really well, because if he gets a welder next turn, he can just he needs welder and an energy, and he can just retreat, snipe 170 to the Dene and just win the game, without ever giving Stefan access to the skipping V-string turn. Okay, let's just see draw pass. So that will
that's not looking good for
probably
Stefan.
seal the game sooner or later. As we see, Heat Factory being drawn by Martin. Actually, your opponent really did not do anything. So, but he has, if he gets the fire energy of the welder, then he should win anyway. And I don't think throwing away an energy with Heat Factory is worth it right now, because you actually want to draw another fire energy. Yes, and there it is. Just
There's
attach,
the water,
retreat,
energy from hand, retreat.
snipe. All right, well played. Yeah, and
Very well played.
he just executed his game plan perfectly, drew the right cards in the right order, as Blacephalon just does sometimes. And Stefan was not really able to capitalize. Like he had really no way into the game, right? He was able to attack on turn 2 with the Solgaleo, but it did not really do anything for him, since he started it and needed to put it down, another one down turn 2 and then turn 3. So he was never able to use his Giratina, even though it went to the discard pile really early. So.
Yeah, he prepared for it, but then kind of needed to adjust to what was happening. And he was really, Blacephalon just did what it does, and it completely overwhelmed his opponent, and yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? If you force your opponent to play around B-string, they generally need to take a slower approach to the game, take more turns overall, rather than just hit into the active every single turn. Also, since Blacephalon does only give up 2 prizes, it's favored in the prize trade versus the big tag teams. So yeah, it becomes really, really tough playing against it if they draw well. Like if you get down 2 Poipoles and a Blacephalon turn 1, usually really you feel good about your setup already. So yeah, let's see how the next game shakes out. I expect Stefan to go for the same approach again.
Probably, it makes sense.
And maybe just if Blacephalon gets like one dead turn where they do not accomplish a lot and get a lot of energies on the board or anything, then you have an opening. But other than that, if Martin draws again like this, like he did in the last game, then it will be tough road to victory for Stefan.
Yeah, and at this point I also want to mention, I thought that Martin was wearing his headphones quite strange. He's doing that not to destroy his hairstyle, actually.
That's actually a nice choice. I should probably try to do this. So the Jirachi start better than the Dene, I guess, because you want Jirachi down anyway, and you
always look on the bright side, right?
Yeah. I try to do it, like when things don't go your way, just try to look at the bright side and trying to find like positive things, and try to go off that. So we see Cherish Ball being played. I don't see anything too important in the prize cards. I mean, Welder and builds for Martin, but that should not be an issue. Energy recycle system for Stefan. But it's fine that when your recovery cards are priced, it's usually fine because you want to draw them eventually.
Yeah, it's
but
actually even better because you don't draw into them during the early game.
But if it's your last prize card, then it becomes really bad. So
yeah, that's true. Like, there are ups and downs.
Yes.
But again, always look on the bright side of things.
I guess. As you see, energy attachment. Yeah, Dedenne would actually be really nice because, yeah, he has a lot of Pokemon that he wants to get rid of. And just draws a new hand, gets the Welder in combination with the Giant Earth. Will be able to search his deck for more energy, thinning out, like getting rid of the Pokemon he does not want in his hand right now. Okay, as he actually
And
gets
there
rid.
are a lot of Pokemon he's already discarding during his first turn.
Yeah, it's looking really nice for him right now. He will be able to get the Welder, and yeah, maybe he can even start. He can even use Venom Shot on the following turn, because he already has so many energy, and then he would need like one turn less compared to the last game, and give Martin even less time to build a stable board state. Also, it's a huge advantage that he goes first versus a deck that needs to evolve to apply pressure, or to apply its maximum amount of pressure. So he's set up fairly well right now.
And we see a Mysterious Treasure
Getting rid of
discarding a Mew Mew.
Getting rid of another Mewtwo, which is fine, I guess. And he wants to guarantee the Welder for next turn, probably. So he's going for the non-GX Mewtwo from Unbroken Bonds to put the Welder on top of his deck, so he can continue to stream them and not have to attack with Solgaleo to fuel his attackers. Because probably you just can't afford it in this matchup to take one turn off and use the Solgaleo Turbo Strike attack.
Yeah, and there we see the Mewtwo.
And a pass. And Martin's hand is not looking too good. There's a treasure, but there's also a lot of energy. So we'll see. If he has a supporter in his hand, then it should be fine. So see. Obviously, your first deck search really important. See what's priced. Take your time, as always.
Yeah, it's always important to know what's priced, especially in those decks where you need certain key cards, like the Beast Ring we are talking so much about. You want to know if they are priced, and if, like in this case, how many.
Yeah, just know what resources you have access to during the course of the game.
Yeah, and we see him getting a Poipole to the bench. He has a Beast Energy in hand, which does not really help him.
Okay,
we see a Reset Stamp.
Yeah, he's gonna play the Reset Stamp to get it out of his hand, because his only draw card is Custom Catcher.
Yeah, and we also know that Stefan has a Welder on top. He put it on top of the Mewtwo, so he gets rid of that. So that's probably also a nice thing.
But still, Stefan got the Welder back into the deck, so it's kind of fine. I mean, he would have preferred it to not be shuffled away, but it's still fine because it's in the deck.
Martin knows his hand is not that good, so if he can somehow prevent to not get overrun, it's probably worth it.
Custom Catcher for 2, as he gets 2 more energy, and his hand consists of every energy type that he plays in his deck right now. 1 Beast, 1 Psychic, 1 Fire.
That's true. That's true. You gotta keep that diversity up high, right? And we see an Acrobike being played. And I can unfortunately not see what
I think there's a Cherish Ball in it, but I can't see the other card. Stefan has Dedenne in his hand to draw more cards if he needs to, but I don't know the rest of his cards. Yeah, dude. Oh, he discards the Welder and keeps the Cherish Ball, actually.
That's interesting.
Right, yeah, you want to get the SP and
yeah.
Deoxys in the discard pile, because Cross Division can also skip these strings.
And also, like in this situation, there's a Poipole that has how many HP?
70.
And the active Mew?
Yeah, but if you want to take the KO, right, you probably would use Turbo Strike
That's true.
to just get more energy on board. Um, as he goes for the Poke Gear, hoping to hit the Welder, but yeah, he has it really nice. Um, his deck also looks pretty thin, considering it's like the second turn. So yeah, he did a good job of thinning out his deck already, and only leaving the cards that actually are useful, and thinning out all of the
Yeah, he
Pokemon in the
discarded
discard
a
pile.
lot of cards during his first turn.
But that's what you want to do, right?
Yeah, right, true. That's probably what your deck is built for.
Actually, I talked about with a friend about Mewtwo Mirrors, and a lot of Mewtwo Mirrors just come down to the Makago GX attack milling out 5 cards of the opponent's deck and just winning this way because so many cards are drawn and decks become so thin so quick.
Yeah.
And you just sit there, attack with Latios, and as we see, the second Welder that they changed away, which will mean that Stefan only has access to 2 more Welders over the rest of the game, which could be enough, but also you'd rather keep them as he whiffs the Pokegear. Unfortunate, but expected if you only play 4 supporters, right? Pokegear gets better the more supporters you play. That's why I find it rather tough to justify to include it in like those ability start decks that play only the 4 Welder. Usually you want to play Pokegear with a lot of supporters, so you hit you hit at least one supporter that's useful for you. If you only play 4 Welder, I mean the odds of hitting it are not too great. So
That's true.
So you can debate, one can debate over the inclusion of this card.
And we see them packing in already.
Alright, dead card off the top for Martin probably, and yeah, he's just saying, okay, I don't want to sit here anymore and watch me slowly lose the game. I'd rather start a fresh one, get a new hand, and get a new setup, and start over, because he probably knows that the matchup is kind of favored for him.
Yeah, it's favored for him, and he definitely wants to win. He knows that he still has a fair amount of time. Both matches were really quick, so we are going to see a full best of 3 here.
Which is really nice.
It is.
Yeah. If you're a top player, you want to avoid ties as much as possible. So play quick, concede quick if you have to, and give yourself the opportunity to win as many games as possible.
Yeah, so Martin is going to start now. If you were Martin, what would you like to have on your starting hand?
Definitely, like a combination of Fire Energy and Mysterious Treasure is really good. Obviously, like 1 or 2 raw Poipoles would be really nice.
Yeah. You also want to have the Blacephalon, right?
Yeah, you want Blacephalon start, 1 or 2 Poipoles down, and then probably like thin out some Fire Energy, draw them away with Mysterious Treasure, and then play Cynthia.
Yeah, and in the ideal world, we probably would also like to have the same start that Stefan had last turn.
Yes, if he would be able to reproduce
last round, not turn.
That would be really nice. Also, if you can attack like turn 1 going second as the Mewtwo player into Blacephalon, yeah, then you can accelerate really quickly, and if you're able to do that, then you can skip. You can try to skip B-string turns also a little bit sooner. So yeah, if you like hit into it for 120 with Solgaleo on turn 2 going second, you can get like 5 energies on board by the end of your turn, which is pretty nice. So you say, that's unlucky. You never want to see Solgaleo priced when you're playing Mewtwo. Trust me. I played this exact same matchup. It's rather funny. I played this exact same matchup at the Cup Finals in Karlsruhe 2 weeks ago, and priced my Solgaleo in game 3 as well, and it cost me. So.
So you lost the game?
Yes, I lost, but it was fine. So 40 CP. It's always fun to play at Cups and play local events. But Solgaleo being priced is never what you want to see as the Mewtwo player. So he'll probably not be able to get a attack with, like, he can't accelerate energies on his board going second other than using Welder. As we see a Mew start from Martin, a Daddy change, 3 energy away. That's fine as well if he's able to find a follow-up supporter and maybe draw some more cards. Yes, there's another Poipole making its way down to the bench. Starting the Mew is unfortunate. If the Solgaleo wasn't priced, which Martin obviously doesn't know this, but if you lose Mew, if he would lose Mew due to a Solgaleo attack, then he would be in a really difficult spot, because then he would open himself up to being sniped with Neganadel. But Stefan's Solgaleo is priced, so he would need a different attacker being set up on turn 1 and attack, which is possible, of course. He plays stuff like Larios that can attack with 1 psychic and 2 colorless energy, would be able to be powered up in 1 turn, or the Makago. So if you're Martin, you probably want to move that Mew off the active. Yeah, and we see Blacephalon coming down. Yes, and he
Martin
has not played
a really good start.
Yeah, he has not played a supporter yet, so he
there
can
it is.
play the turn 1 Welder as you like it.
Drawing into another Welder, which is nice. Unfortunately, no energy.
But it's fine if he draws an energy next turn. Then it should be good.
Oh, he already attached an energy, anyways.
Yeah,
on
and
the Poipole.
yeah, but he wants some more energy for the next turn, because he has the follow-up
I
Welder
mean,
and the Heat Factory.
He has the Heat Factory in hand, so he has just played Ultra Space. He can use it next turn to get one of the Neganadels.
Yes.
So he's actually in a pretty good spot.
And also, he wouldn't mind if Stefan replaces the Ultra Space with Giant Earth, because that would allow him to get some more energy out of the stack. But Stefan first using that Ultra Space from Martin to just get himself a free Naganadel out of the deck, which is always like a really nice feeling. If you can use your opponent's stadium to get yourself into a little bit better of a position. So see Cherish Ball for Dedenne. Yeah, probably will end up getting as much Pokemon in his hand as possible and then throwing it all away into the discard pile to give himself those options.
Seems like a solid plan to me. So let's see how he's gonna get the other Pokemon. I think he has some in his hand already. He plays so many of them. There must be some.
Oh, and he can Welder just for the raw 2 fire energy out of his starting hand. So now the discussion becomes, do you want to give your opponent another Ultra Space, or do you want to replace the stadium with Giant Earth, or do you just want to throw it away because you don't want to give your opponent easy search for his fire energy? I'm really curious to what Stefan will do in this position. If he chooses to replace the stadium with Giant Earth, or just let it stick and be like, okay, fine.
I think it's better to replace it, because the Neganadel is more valuable for Martin than the plain energy.
Yeah, maybe. I'm honestly not sure. Also, like, giving Blacephalon, since they also play Welder, giving Blacephalon easy access to full value Welders feels really bad as well. So.
True.
And they can get rid of fire energy in their hand to discard and get back with charging up. So it has the Giant Earth provides a lot of value to Blacephalon decks. Even though they don't play their own, they always like to see it if it comes down from the opponent's hand. So we see, yeah, the stadium coming down. You want to guarantee. Yes, Stefan can guarantee his next turn Welder with just Daddy changing into it right now, and then using Giant Earth, probably getting rid of one of his Pokemon that he can use to attack, and already securing the full value Welder for 2 energy for the next turn.
Yeah, and we see him using the stadium.
Yes, getting rid of the Pokegear. It's fine. Yeah, but actually now he needs to attack into the Mew because and take like one prize, which you really don't want to do, but he kind of has to because he wants to snipe with Naganadel later, and to do that he needs to get rid of the Mew, and ideally, oh, he just passes in the active. Okay, I guess he has no way to take the KO, or he's just waiting to. Yeah, he has no way to take the KO. Unfortunate. You would expect Mewtwo. Mewtwo always feels like you have some options, right? But sometimes
Yeah.
it's just you have nothing in your discard pile, nothing on your field, and yeah, it feels really bad. Having your Mewtwo charged up with 3 energy, you big tag team attacker that is so flexible, and then just passing because you did not get anything in the discard pile on your bench.
Yeah, and now all the energy on your tag team are in the active position where they are vulnerable. They can get like probably not KO'd, but they can get some damage on there quite easily. So
Yeah.
definitely not the best start for Stefan, but not too bad. I mean, it's something he can work with.
Yes, of course. But he needs to get rid of the Muse at some point, right? Um, I don't. Probably it's not 100% necessary, but then he would have to custom catcher around it, like hit into the first Blacephalon, then hit into the second Blacephalon, and then take the KO with something like Espeon Deoxys or the Giratina, which feels so slow playing against like Blacephalon, which can threaten a knockout not this turn, but probably will be able to take the one shot on the next turn.
True.
So it's yeah, you are scared if you see the welder for 2 energy coming down, and you're wondering, should I have given my opponent those free 2 energies? Because as we saw, Martin did not have any energy in his hand before, so it's always yeah, it always feels bad. Um, to
It
give
does. We see more serious treasure. Martin still not quite sure what to discard.
you don't want to get rid of your custom catchers, but there's actually you want to attack in the active right now. So the earliest you would need your custom catcher are on the next turn, right, or on the following turn, because maybe you don't even attack on this turn, right? You just go for your setup, get down your Naganadels, get more energies on the playing field, and then go for the one shot next turn.
True.
Or he could could go for for the GX attack, and yeah, or he just passes. As we said, he's gonna sit back, get more energies on his board, and basically says, okay, if you don't do anything, I take the one shot on the next turn because he already has double custom catcher in his hand. He can KO whatever he likes, and he can do a lot of damage to this Mewtwo and go down to 3 prizes on his next turn. So no wonder he's just gonna pass over.
Yeah, it makes no sense to get the Mew out of the active position.
Yeah, I mean, now he's too far ahead, probably in the energies on board and also in the natural price trade that those 2 decks will eventually have. Like you always trade 2 for 3 in the worst case, or like in the normal case. So you don't need the Mew anymore because if your opponent wants to play around B string, it becomes so slow because you already have the knockout, right? If your opponent knocks out your Mew, then you just take the one shot, and if he tries to play around B string after that, it would take so much time that you would probably be able to get to 6 energies on your board without B string.
Yeah.
So really smart play, like acknowledging his board position really well. As we finally see the first KO of the game being taken, but I expect the prize trade to be blown wide open right here.
Oh, that blows up my mind. Yeah, and I think now that the first KO has happened, everything's going to happen quite fast.
So see Cynthia actually shuffling back those double custom catchers. Martin does not want to see them right here because, yeah, as we said, He wants to take into the active. He wants to see some other cards, maybe some
energies.
yeah, some energies. A
Some
welder for the
welder.
following turn.
Neganadal.
Yeah.
He still has no. Oh, he has one Neganadal, right?
Yes.
Yeah. One Neganadal and one.
Beast
Poison.
energy is also really useful because it fixes a lot of math. Like you get one shots with 5 energy onto the Mewtwo, which is really nice.
True.
Yeah, and now he can just get rid of 6 energies, all of his energies on the board, and take 3 prizes if he wants to. Oh, and he can. Oh, he used charging up. Sorry, and now he can attach the beast energy and only get rid of 5 energies on his board and leave himself in a board position that is a little bit better. Yeah, thinning out the deck with the giant earth. So he has fire energy in his hand next turn. If Stefan activates Beast Ring, you want to see like a lot of cards. So probably he's just gonna hold the Heat Factory for next turn, and okay, never mind. He's just gonna play it down because like if it gets bumped, you don't got any extra draw in your actual Beast Ring turns. But I guess it's fine if you draw into the Beast Rings right now. You just hold them, and then it's good, I guess. So you see the auto conversion again making its way to the hand.
Yeah, which makes sense because this definitely helps getting the cards he needs during his Beast Ring turn.
Yes. Just gonna take the knockout right now. Oh, or not. He's just counting the energy, never mind. Yeah. I don't know if it's right to evolve the Poipole right now. Maybe you just want to have the option next turn. To like you get another Poipole right here, and then you have the option next turn to evolve into another charging up.
But I think the more energies you have on your field this turn, the less you need next turn.
Yeah, probably.
So he
he's
could
probably
be in a position where his board would just be enough to win.
Yeah, he's just probably just gonna ultra conversion away this this Naganada.
Yeah, could be.
That feels like the right play.
But we'll find out what he's going to do. Just in a second.
Counting his energy again. Nice. Really important. Yeah, we see he's really debating over it, whether to evolve. Shaking his head.
Yeah, we may not forget that those two players are playing on stream. They are aware that a lot of people are watching. So they really want to make sure that they are doing the most optimal decision.
As we see, actually see the charging up again and coming down, and no ultra conversion being used. And we see the knockout being taken. All right.
300
Oh, that's
damage.
actually super smart, leaving the beast energy, because if Stefan, he says he's leaving himself in a position where if Stefan takes the knockout and removes the beast energy, he activates beast ring, and if he tries to play around beast ring, he has to leave the beast energy on board, and Martin will get another turn of the plus 30 damage. So I really like this play, getting rid of the 2 fire energy instead of the beast energy. It's really nice. See Latios being promoted with its free retreat. It's really useful. Always really useful to have a free pivot in your deck that just you can just promote, play out your turn, and then see what you want to do. So yeah.
I mean, that's why that's one of the reasons why so many decks play Jirachi with Escape Board.
Yes.
Obviously, Jirachi Stellar Wish is insanely good, but
you also get a free pivot on top of it, which is like, it's busted. Yeah. Mysterious Treasure away the Reshizard. Getting the Giratina.
But again, his bench is full.
His bench is full. He hasn't been able to get value out of the Giratina in the 2 games that have been played out. Like the 1 game Martin scooped like 2 turns in, so yeah, the Giratina wasn't been able to carry his deck right there just yet. there's a lot of energy counting involved in playing both decks, making sure that you have enough energy for everything that you want to do.
Yeah, and also with those energy acceleration cards, you can get so many energies on your field in just one turn. It's incredible.
Yes, yes, of course. But you want to leave yourself in a position where you don't need to get as many energy acceleration cards, so you just have them on board naturally. So it's really important to, even though if you are like, okay, I have access to welder and everything, just leave yourself in a position where you don't really need to rely on it.
Yeah.
As we see him taking the knockout, Stefan is playing into B-string right now because he has no other choice, and the
There's the
Heat
first
Factory is stuck,
B-string.
and there's the B-string of the Heat Factory.
One
Only getting down
energy.
1 energy. So,
But I mean, Martin must have known that
yes.
too. I mean, that's 6 energies.
No, it's 5, right? Oh,
Oh,
there's
yeah, that's
6
6.
charging up. Alright,
So
perfect.
that's a mind blown for 3 prizes on Mewtwo Mew Tag Team GX. Yeah, so that was a rather quick series. Those fire decks, they, as I said, Blacephalon is really like boom boom pow.
They just play welder every single turn. They get rolling, and then once they get a setup, they have a lot of options, and they are really, really powerful inherently with the support of welder and B-string for Blacephalon. Even though, like, Martin did not play any B-string over this course of the series, just the one in the end to get 1 fire energy out of his deck. So, yeah, Blacephalon was really able to pull through in this one, even without B-string, just with the support of welder and the Naganadels recovering the energy that he discarded from Mysterious Treasures and Dedenes.
Yeah, and Martin played this very well. It was nice to see the deck work. It was a bit unfortunate to not really see the Mewtwo deck work and see the strategy with the Giratina.
Yeah, that was rather unfortunate. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, but speaking out of my own experience, it's like playing around B-string always sounds very easy on paper, but actually executing it's so hard because you really need a sequence of cards at exactly the right time under the exact conditions, and that's quite hard because of course your opponent knows how people can play around B-string. So yeah, but we have Martin here, our winner, and we will interview him for you shortly. So we will be back after a very quick break.
Bye-bye.